Gensel on the right. He's got Jake Gensel.
Hundley holds, steps up. Hundley sacks T.J. Watt. NFL history. Watt has tied Michael Strahan's single-season record. Oh, no.
In the air to right. This is deep. And he did it again. Jack Sawinski wins it for the Pirates. 3 home runs in a game.
I hate the delay. Welcome to another live edition of Pittsburgh Sportsline in the BPTV studio right here in downtown Bethel Park at the Municipal Building. Thank you for watching our show. I'm Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Smoking Jim Frazier. Chip Painter's still on hiatus with his knee transplant. He's not doing well, so he'll be off another couple weeks.
Peg leg.
And disclaimer right off the bat.
That's not nice.
Smoking Jim is so disrespectful. He does not represent BPTV or my team here. And please ignore that. And he just can't help himself. He went to Gateway. And then he went to Cal U. Cal U, so respected, now they're called West Penn.
I didn't even know that.
And the next guy up is Jim Guns Ellenbogen filling in for Chip. We have Nick VIP Callis. And I got some to thank you people for watching us on Comcast 7, only in Bethel Park.
I'm you people.
Yeah, well, you're part of you people. Except he's racist.
You didn't even say that.
Thank you for watching it, all of you people watching us on Verizon 32 in the Bethel Park and all the way from McClellan, Cranberry, Wexford, and the greater Pittsburgh area. Wherever you are, you can watch us if you're on the Verizon hub. Thank you for all the likes and follows on Facebook. We're somewhere around 6,900 likes, followers, or whatever. So we salute you for that. And I have some promos. And we have Nick's cousin, Alexandra.
Woo!
You can tell because of Smoking Jim disclaimer. He's always saying nice things about women.
Beautiful women.
Well,
Remind me of my sister's name. I think one of us forgot.
Bella.
Yeah.
Jim Ellenbogen, take me off the timer. Smoking Jim took 2 minutes away from this. I got to put this up. Alexandra's going to see how she can do with the focus of please don't subscribe to the Post-Gazette online or in print. I worked there 36
Lift it
years
up more.
there.
There you go.
Well,
You just said I support Post-Gazette. You couldn't see strikers.
I'm not working on the camera. Come on, let her focus there. She got it perfectly. I support the strikers, my union, the Mailers Union, CWA, PPMWS 14842, Mailers Local 22's on strike. The company cut their health care and told them to come into work, and they said they had a contract, and unlike Smoking Jim, they know contracts, so they went on strike. So don't support them. All right, let's see how Alexandra does on this next one. It's a little smaller. And we have a sponsor, Olive Oil's Pizzeria, right here at Hillcrest Shopping Center, 412-831-1900. Look at that. She got it perfect. You made it nice and large from the number up. She did excellent. She's a student, a senior at Peters Township. Smoking Jim only found out about Peters Township 2 years ago. He never heard about it, and we went to a place at South Point called Princescape. When you turn to the right on Donaldson's Crossroads, I said, go to the left, and that's Peters. He goes, when did they open up? I go last year. So Olive Oil's Pizzeria sponsors with an XL pizza and a steak hoagie. Give them a call.
How many cuts?
We don't remember. All right. Next up, Alexandra's doing great. Joey Fabus died of DIPG, a brain cancer, at 8 years old, 9 years ago. And we end each show with Stay Joey Strong. Look at Alexandra on that. There's Joey before DIPG and after DIPG, and he died. It's a death sentence when they get diagnosed with it. You can go to Joey Fabus Childhood Cancer Foundation, check out their events, donate as little as $1. Every dollar helps. They've raised over $100,000 to find a cure. All right, another 501c3. Alexandra's on fire tonight, so we appreciate it. The B in there stands for Bennett. He was a handicapped child. He had 2 kidney transplants, including one from his dad, Dean. His mother, Kristen, and Dean started this up after he died at 16 and a half a couple years ago. And you can go to their Facebook page. Please always be smiling. I got over 400 people that liked it and pumped them up, so thank you, and please like their page. Next up, we're on a 501c3 trio here. Bethel Park Historical Society Schoolhouse Arts and History Center, 2600 South Park Road, red and white trolley, you can't miss it there. 1905 schoolhouse, been completely remodeled. Go to their site, BethelParkHistoricalSociety.org. You can donate money. They do events, and they have the best coffee in Bethel Park in the area. It is Reginald's Coffee. They have their own roaster there. I drink my green tea there, but their coffee, hundreds of people have told me how good it is. So check it out. All right, Alexandra, another bigger sheet. Let's see how you handle this one. I'm on the Bethel Park Community Foundation. They have money for you. They have $100 to $5,000. Look at that. Excellent. Very well centered and focused. It's not blurry, Nick.
I'm happy about that. Front focus.
I wanted Nick to speak, the VIP. So check them out. You can go to their website, bpcf.org. You can get applications. I'm a trustee on the board. If you want to have a group and get money in Bethel Park to help make Bethel a better community, get your application. All right, this next one, Dave Cable likes to have a little fun at my expense. And he put my head on Uncle Sam. I want you for BPTV. You can be here like Rowan. You can be like Alexandra. You can be like Ryan, who came back. He's like a boomerang. He's back with us in the control room doing the 1s and 2s and 3s and 4s. And give a call, 412-831-3304. And you can volunteer for the audio, the video. You can do shows on location. You can do shows around here and in the school area and in Bethel Park. Check it out. All right, next we got a party in the park. April 29th, sorry about that. And that's with the South Park Theater. They have this great event. Tickets are, Smokin' Jim said he'd come, $40 for an adult. He can't make it. And $5 for kids. But that's enough kidding with Smokin' Jim. He makes it easy to criticize him, so, because ask him can he lend you $10? He pulls out a roll of ones. I don't know what it means, but some people laugh about it, including him. All right, that's it for all this stuff. Next, we have one of our segments. We call it What's on Your Mind? Smokin' Jim Frazier.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
coming at you.
You got to see Levine. My white boy slam dunk winning contest right there, bro. Hey, Al Levine.
Disclaimer.
Al Levine.
What was his name?
Al Levine.
What was his name?
His first name is Mac.
McClug.
Yeah, McClug. Al Levine, the talking machine. I tell you what, brother.
What?
I go to, because I'm trying to get my wardrobe up. Now that
You're doing terrible.
Now that we got Roe and we got Marco, them guys can style, right? So I go to Monroeville, got a designer store. It's called Plato's Closet. It's better than Gucci. I go in there, show them a picture. They said, I like that fit, but we don't have that bit. That's black talk, Al Levine, the talking machine. I got to step up my wardrobe, Al. They don't have the clothes.
Hold it.
that
Let
Marco
me
has.
do a disclaimer right off the bat. He's talking about his clothes.
Ain't Rose Sharp? Look at him, man.
No, I'm talking about you. He doesn't feel hot or cold. And today was like a 50-some degree day. I'm wearing a short sleeve polo. Is my man dressed for spring or winter? I rest my case.
Well, you know the one thing I hate, Al Levine, the talking machine, is
Tell me one thing.
I hate racism, and most importantly, I hate reverse racism. It's still been 20 years in the National Football League since they had a white cornerback. Now this kid I've been following since high school. He's been a leaper since high school. He's been winning slam dunk contests. He went to Georgetown, but I guess Pat Ewing coaches is about as good as Eric Bieniemy. So he ended up transferring to Texas Tech. The NBA will not employ him, but they put him in the slam dunk contest. And in my opinion, other than Michael Jordan, I've never seen a guy slam dunk better. How can he not be in the NBA except for that he's white? And I'm going to finish up with this, Al Levine, the talking machine. NBA is 90% white, but the white fans.
Hold it.
So let
Did
me
you
finish.
misspeak?
You said the NBA is 90% white.
If you're white, you're all right. The NBA is
Doesn't make that a
90% black.
Oh, wait. He's made a mistake.
No.
No disclaimer.
The NBA is
He corrected his
The
mistake.
NBA is 90% black. But the fans, the white
Can you
fans,
verify that?
support that paycheck.
Can you verify
The NFL is 80% black. The white fans support that. So I want to thank you, Jim, for over the years supporting my people. And I would thank Al Levine, the talking machine, but he only gets free tickets.
Wait.
On 11 years,
do you know why
you
he-
ain't bought a ticket. It's all freebies.
Do you know why
And
he-
that's what's on my mind.
Do you know why he brought me into this? Because he said I was the last white corner that ever played.
Yeah. And then he turned down I tried to put him in the City League Hall of Fame. He turned that down.
Well, I don't want to be stereotyped as the last white corner.
You don't want to be the only white guy in the room.
Why? It ain't-
Watch your wallet.
wasn't any different than being the only white guy on defense.
Hey, Smoking Jim, our friend Jim Land with the Irish Institute, the Institute of Ireland, thanks us for agreeing to call the Donnybrook. And I just talked to his vice president.
I'm Mick Frazier that day.
No, I just talked to his vice president. You're interrupting. I'm trying to thank him. Rob Tierney called up. We got the deal on it. We're going to do an undercard at 6:15. Nick and I will be there at 5. Smoking Jim will make it by 6:14. By the way, Jim, we're honored to be able to do it again. And we respect the Ireland guys that are boxers and the hard work they did to compete against our Pittsburgh guys. And you know we're a little bit prejudiced with pro boxing and amateur boxing with Pittsburgh. We lean a little bit towards our guys, except Smoking Jim. He'll turn on anybody. So we're looking forward to it. So we
about the
can't
green.
wait. I just had to put it out there because we know how it is. We got a few others. Amy said, "Hi guys, happy Fat Tuesday." Steve Callis said, "Alexandra the Great." Johnny Mariano, who can't make it, prayers for his dad who's in the hospital with swollen legs. Not that we had a host here, co-host Smoking Jim, go in 3 or 4 times for months where he couldn't walk. He had swollen legs. We don't know what it means. So, Johnny, if you can find out what it means with your dad, prayers for him, tell us so we'll know about Smoking Jim's mystery illness. Johnny said, great show, Al Levine, the Talking Machine, Nick, VIP, Guns, Ellenbogen, and Pastor Smoking Jim Frazier.
We were calling you the Reverend. Reverend?
And Amy has to tell everybody, I like your green hat, Smoking Jim.
Thank you, Amy. It's my penguin hat. I wear it every time they win.
And Jim Lamb says, the fight's, sorry I didn't say
lie.
that, they're March 10th at the Priory Hotel, the night before the parade. So it'll be a great night to celebrate. Tony from Chick-fil-A said, bring back Smoking Jim top 20. Does not make any sense. Sports list. And Amy said, Smoking Jim, you on fire. Brand the man from Mr. Sewer. Good evening, gentlemen. So our hockey experts there, we may have to do something unusual. I might call, well, he supports Penguins because he got a $5 hat. All right, we got to go. Where are we at next here?
Guns?
Guns? We already
Yes.
Did I do what's on the mind with guns?
No.
All right, what's on your mind, guns?
Well, as you can see, I have my pirate gear on tonight,
Thanks.
which, if history repeats itself, this will be the only time you see me in it. Well, I'm excited.
Why?
Because being excited as a Pittsburgher, I want to see them do well. And as usual, I'm sure that Nutting will have nothing but disappointment for me down the road. And this hat and shirt will go with the rest of my pirate gear till somebody else owns this team.
Hold it, Ryan. Save this tape until the Pirate season's halfway complete in August.
Yes, but one thing
We'll go back.
Well, one thing I'm pretty sure about. I think we
Hold
got.
it. Amy said, Guns, I like your pirate hat and T-shirt. You look very nice.
Well, thank you, Amy.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amy. I don't want to.
Amy's on fire.
Well, the thing about it is, they will develop some good players.
Yeah.
And as sure as Jim's going to eat that hoagie, they're going to trade him.
What about the pizza?
No, he's going to eat that when he watches tapes all night, football tapes.
Or when he's on that other show.
Right. As far as the Penguins go,
Yeah. Where's Steve at the give a rebuttal?
who said that they may not make the playoffs and everybody said he was nuts?
Yep.
Oh, that would be me, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That third line,
Where are they?
they need to be dismantled. I wouldn't even, I don't even know what to say about them. They're probably better off, and I know this is terrible for a Pittsburgher to say this, they're probably better off that they don't make the playoffs, because if they do make them, they're going to get slaughtered and be remembered for that. So,
Well, they've only done it 2 years in a row.
no. So what I'm going to shift, the thing I like to shift to is college basketball.
Okay.
Because we are on the eve of the greatest sport event.
I gotta agree with you.
March Madness. Everybody that's anybody watches March Madness.
Well, they like a block. They
Right.
need those blocks.
The big question, will Pitt's basketball team make March Madness?
Yes.
And will they choke? Probably.
You got a direct answer from Smokin' Jim.
Smokin' Jim, they were
He's never wrong.
playing really well until the media said they're playing really well. And what did they do? They took the apple as usual and got their
I watched
butts.
the game. That was one of the worst games.
Wasn't
I've
it
watched.
though? As soon as they say, hey, you might be pretty good, we can't play anymore. So how are they going to compete? I don't know.
I
But
got
I
money
don't.
on them tonight against
But I will say one thing. If you want to see some great college basketball, there's teams in there like Purdue, Alabama.
Right.
It's going to be a great year because you got some great
How
college
about
teams in there.
Northwestern too at times?
And that's what's on my mind.
Purdue got a white center that's 7'4". I love him.
How about that?
Disclaimer: Smokin' Jim's a black gentleman, and we don't know why he talks that way, but he doesn't represent BPTV or us. I have to emphasize that because most of
He's
you
the
know,
best in the country.
you know how many disclaimers. Now he's talking with pizza and hoagie in his mouth. All right, we're going to move on. Thank you, Guns. Appreciate it. And I concur with some of your thoughts on the Pirates and Penguins.
Take a good look at this shirt. You probably won't see it again on next year.
Well, they always make a comment that you know what's good about spring training? They haven't lost yet.
Yeah, that's tough.
We're going to go to Nick, VIP Callis. What's
Can
on
I say
your
one
mind?
thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's
not his time yet, so go ahead.
I just wanted to say, being a guest host,
Yeah.
I'm starting to feel like the mother-in-law that came that never left. Just saying.
We respect you. All right, it's VIP Nick Callis. What's on your mind?
Well, this is a week old, but I didn't really catch wind of it until last week on Valentine's Day.
Hold it. Let me interrupt you.
Why?
You don't have to apologize about a week late. This is actually your segment, What's on Your Mind.
Well, here's what's on my mind.
Thank you.
Juju Smith-Schuster is now
Just had to help.
terrible. What kind of guy? Now, did I giggle a bit if you saw the tweet on Valentine's Day? to James Bradbury. I'll hold you when it matters most. If you watched the Super Bowl, you understood what that one's about. Very, very tough. I'm not a big supporter of Juju anymore. I mean, before I told you, even before the Super Bowl, I said I'd be fine with Juju winning a Super Bowl. I think he was a serviceable player. I don't think he was the superstar wide receiver that everybody thought he might be in his first year. But he's a serviceable player. He's a role player, and he
Who starred in the Super Bowl?
Not Juju. Well,
Juju
actually, he did. Juju. But no, here's my point. I don't think he starred in the Super Bowl. He was a big name at the end of the game, getting held. But like, he's a role player. You didn't really. He didn't make any of the big splash plays.
I gotta interrupt you.
Okay.
Didn't he make about 6 catches in the last quarter?
Yeah, he caught the ball, but it wasn't like Kadarius Toney's punt return.
What is
flashy
that?
plays? Hello.
What is
flashy
that
plays.
compared to the couple of the single catches guys made for touchdowns? He had 6 times as many as them.
Okay, but he didn't catch 6 touchdown passes. He caught some passes.
Well,
I can't tell if you're being sarcastic or not.
It is.
That is sarcastic?
Yes.
Okay, so he did not star in the game.
Badass.
Great. We all established that, because sometimes Al gives me that look where I'm like, is he serious? Not serious. Okay, of course. He didn't star in the game. But then he goes on social media, and he's the guy that tries to make a comment like that. Very clever comment. I respect it to an extent, but just, when you're the guy in a game, it didn't take any effort for Juju Smith-Schuster to get held. In that case, he was involved in a play of circumstance, right? He didn't do much to get held. He was just involved in a crucial play where he ended up getting held. So if you're somebody who's going to go out and talk about another team like you were the most impactful player in a game, I don't support that at all. I mean, and I talked about before too, like there were some things he did in the past that I thought were bad, like dancing on
Logos.
the Buffalo Bills logo to incentivize them to then batter the Steelers. Right, like that kind of stuff. I don't love that. But as a guy who was involved in a play once where, he fumbled the ball and lost the team a game, and remember that game against the Saints in 2018?
Times.
So he made some mistakes before. Being that guy before, to just be in a different position where you ended up winning, and then you win a bigger game, and you're going to do that on social media, that can't be forgiven. There are several things that Juju Smith-Schuster has done in the past where I'm like, he can be forgiven. But when you're making fun of a guy after you win the Super Bowl, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you about? Especially when you were a player you weren't very much an impact player. You were a role player. You were a part of a team, and you were part of the team that won, but you weren't like one of the stars. You weren't one of the playmakers. And the play that won you the game, you didn't have a part very much in that. You were a victim of circumstance in that case. Or a victim. It was a circumstantial play that he was involved in that led the Chiefs to winning. That's what's on my mind. Juju Smith-Schuster, terrible.
I have a couple questions there, especially for you.
Okay.
Well, one thing I noticed is Andy Reid silenced Juju during the season and the Super Bowl. And he told him not to do that, so they won, and he had a free day or 2. So Juju became Juju again. And when you say he didn't have anything to do with the play, they run routes that are timing routes, and you know this, and I can't believe you're becoming simple-minded. And they run routes, and if somebody grabs this, that slows you down. If somebody does this and pushes you, you take a step.
Yeah.
When you throw for a spot, like Patrick Mahomes, you would say would throw for a spot, like everybody said he couldn't have caught it. You know why?
Because he got held.
Then you know that, but you're saying it was inconsequential.
Wait.
He was running a pattern like he should have.
Whether he got held
That's
or
not. That's
He
not what I
was
said.
running the pattern.
No, that's not what I'm saying though. Like I'm saying
Well, that's what it appeared to me. When I
I'm
was
saying that
listening
if
to you.
he's running a route, right, his job is to run the route.
He did.
But the fact I understand that the fact that he ran his route, they're like, he didn't choose to get held, is what I'm saying. He had no effort in getting held. That's what I'm saying.
Anybody, even somebody like Smoking Jim, understands your point.
Yeah.
But by him running the route the way he's supposed to, Bradbury knew he held and said that. He was an honest guy, which is unusual in football. He did hold him. There was no dispute on it.
No,
when
I know.
The referee swallowed the whistle for 3/4 of the game. That's the problem. So when this came up, They called it, and if nobody called it, nobody would have known.
Wait, do you think I'm disagreeing that it wasn't a hold? Because I said last week.
No.
I said last week it was a hold. I'm
but-
saying that when you're a player.
What I'm thinking about is you're saying it didn't matter what he was doing.
No. I'm saying
That's what you're implying.
I'm saying that the yards happened on that play in the end because of the penalty. If he gets past Bradbury and catches the pass,
who ran on the penalty?
What do you mean?
Juju was running the play, so he was doing what he's supposed to do.
But he's
on
a victim of
football
circumstance.
field.
He's a victim of circumstance in that case. He's not like he didn't try to get held. He tried to run around to get past the defender and happened to get held. In that case, if you're bragging because you were involved in the play, there was a penalty that got your team into field goal range to win. I don't love that. If he runs past,
you have a slant of the fan right now, because what I'm noticing is you're explaining. Like Juju's Juju. He's not a good person. He's a social media freak.
well, that's what I'm saying. I thought he was a good person, and now I don't think he is.
You were mistaken before, and now it sounds like the fan when you're justifying the ends here for the means that he put out there on the field.
I'm so confused right now.
Well,
Trying to think, but nothing happens.
I am so I don't understand.
well, you played baseball.
Okay.
If you ran the first base, and then somebody ran in front of you, they could have interfered with you.
But I wouldn't brag about that as a player. I would be like, woo, I won the game because somebody got because I had somebody interfere with me. Woo, that's great.
That's the reason I'm saying Juju reverted back to Juju, because Andy Reid didn't hold him back after the Super Bowl because they were happy they won. He was becoming what he always is. You put yourself in like him where you wouldn't do something like that.
Right.
So to me,
that's why I don't like him anymore. That's the opinion.
No, but he was always that way. You were brainwashed when he was here. That's what I'm trying to debunk.
Well, when he was,
you thought he was a good person. I never did.
Well, that's why it's on my mind. I thought he was a good person, and now I don't like him anymore.
And that's what I wanted you to put out there. Okay. You gave me all the justifications.
I thought I already did that.
You gave all the justifications on he just was a victim of circumstances. That's what changed the whole dichotomy of this discussion.
Okay, that's what's on my mind.
Okay. Glad we could put it out there. I just wanted to get out that that's what you're saying. And you put yourself into the picture there.
Okay.
And that made a difference.
Lovely.
I guess I got to say what's on my mind.
I thought you just did.
No, that wasn't on my mind. I just was stunned. I was stunned by my co-host there. I'm like, this can't be the Nick that I know.
He's no longer. He's Nick the fan now.
No, but who would ever have thought with Juju playing here that he was a good guy? He did some charity work. He did some other things.
He met my sister one time. Seemed like the greatest guy in the world.
Leopards don't change their spots. That's what we're really saying.
Yeah.
He is what he is. They got him to perform the way he wanted him to perform, and then after they won, he decided to be who he really is.
That was my point to the whole thing. You were misguided with you thinking he's a good person.
Well, no, like the reason why I feel like I said this on the show, but my sister once met him in Shenley Park. Seemed like a great guy.
No,
had a great interaction.
That. I salute him for liking your sister.
So, like,
ask Smoking Jim her name.
I already did that. I don't think.
No, today.
Go
Bella.
ahead. You're wrong. But no, like when they
who had to tell you what her name was?
Bella means beautiful.
Alexandra had to tell him Bella's name.
Bella means beautiful in the text.
But that's not her name. Her name's Mariah. And you should know that because you've met her before.
See, how did I do?
My sisters met Juju, and because of that interaction, I had a personal reference to him being a good person. But what he's doing on social media, yeah. What?
How does it make sense now?
Because I
You
had a
were wrong.
personal story. I know I was wrong. That's why I saw. Okay, we're done. That's what's on my mind. Go ahead, Al.
Now let's hear what's on your mind.
First, Ralph said, hello, guys.
That's my man.
Marco Rody, our sick guy, hello, guys. Chief Chuck McElroy said, VIP is awesome. I'm glad I could boost them up so we got the truth out of them. It was hard to get it. All right, who watched the NBA All-Star Game? I never do. And I saw somebody talk about it being the worst basketball game they ever saw, and they were a coach in the NBA. So I'm glad I missed it. And I don't watch any of the All-Star games because at one time they meant something. Because people like Guns, if you told them to play ball, they wanted to win every time.
Yes, sir.
You tell pros now who are multimillionaires, don't really care about it, and then they don't put the effort in. I saw so many clips on ESPN with guys not caring and all that. And then I have to ask this. Congrats to the guy who won the dunk contest. You know, but he's not. Is he an all-star in the NBA, Nick?
I don't think so.
No. Is he play in the NBA?
No.
Reverse discrimination.
Well, Smoking Jim, all the people that are in the NBA that are black were discriminated against. They put a white guy who's not an all-star in the NBA in the dunk contest. He didn't miss one dunk, which is rare because you got prima donnas that take 5 tries to make a dunk. Mm-hmm. So he's great in what he does. They've known about him for 10 years. They love him on YouTube and all these films. But how do you have an NBA dunk contest
Good point.
without a NBA guy?
Good point.
So what have we sunk to? Why are we having all-star games and a dunk contest? I used to like watching it when they first started it, and ever since they snubbed LeBron, and he hasn't competed ever, this is what it's come down to. So that's what's on my mind, truly. And with Nick, he just misled me on watching Juju for, 5 years here? And he was wrong. So he admits it, and I understand. So we're going to go to Fiction and Fact from Smoking Jim's Almanac.
Yay.
Thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And I tell you what, I only got a few words to say.
Okay, that's it, folks. He's done.
Eric Bieniemy's an idiot. First of all, the guy couldn't coach his way out of a wet paper bag. First of all, you got Patty Mahomes. In my opinion,
He's Patrick.
I've always said
Patrick.
the greatest quarterback in the
Patrick's
NFL I ever seen was Brett Favre. Now Patty Mahomes is the greatest quarterback.
Patrick.
I always said Andy Reid runs the offense. You're sitting there making $3 million a year. You're winning world championships. Now you're going to Washington, D.C. to coach the Commanders, to be an assistant coach, basically a lateral move. They have no quarterback. They have no offense, and they're the worst team in that division.
Who's Sam Howell? That's what I want to know.
Sam Howell's a quarterback out of North Carolina. He'll be in his second year. The Steelers looked at him very heavily
Why didn't we get him then?
because he had a 3rd or 4th round grade on him. And
So they have him, and
he really with no experience. So that was dumb. But if you look at some
Thanks
of these
for that.
coaches that had coaching trees, sooner or later you'll get an opportunity if you want one. Andy Reid had John Harbaugh on his staff, Ron Rivera, Doug Peterson, Mike Holmgren had John Gruden, Mike Sherman, Steve Mariucci.
never read stuff.
And they all had the head coach called to play. Sooner or later, you might get the opportunity. Sean McVay had Zach Taylor and Matt LaFleur. So for Eric Bieniemy, who can't coach, to leave and go there, I'm making a prediction within 2 years, Eric Bieniemy will be fired by the Washington Commanders. And that's what's on my mind. And I hate to see another black man get fired during Black History Month. And I mean, the talking machine, we got enough out of work.
Smoking Jim, it's unbelievable.
Don't you hate that?
Well, I hate how disrespectful you are to a guy that Andy Reid got all the credit for the great second
deserved
half of calling plays.
Yes.
So if you were under him and they're passing you over for head coaching jobs, look at the Philadelphia Eagles. What happened to the Rooney Rules? What I wanted to ask. They hired both the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator of the Eagles to be head coaches. Did anybody talk about the Rooney Rule?
Good point.
So the NFL's racist. We still know that, and they're practicing it. Smoking Jim's trying to throw reverse racism on a white cornerback, but then on a black coach, he's pulling the race card out, how dumb he is and he can't call plays. I mean, Smoking Jim, how do you legitimize your
I said he can't coach
comments?
his way out of a wet paper bag. He was still basically stealing money for the Chiefs. Why would you leave to go to a team that's never going to win? Ellenbogen, the talking machine. He'll be out of football in 2 years.
Maybe he made enough money.
Pardon me?
Maybe he made
I
enough
would never.
money.
If I was offensive
You don't have
coordinator,
money, so
I would
you-
never leave Patty Mahomes.
And he would not like you because you call him Patty. He goes by Patrick.
Patty Patrick.
You're so
same thing.
disrespectful. Like,
You've never heard him called Patty Mahomes?
no.
Well, it is the season, St. Patty's Day.
Well, I understand that.
I'm McFrazier.
But he's so disrespectful of that. Like, I introduce people.
My favorite quarterback.
My co-host is Smoking Jim Frazier, and 80% of the people go, "How's Smoking Joe?" And I go, "No, this is Smoking Jim. Smoking Joe died in Philadelphia, was a great fighter." So I defend him. How can he call somebody Patty Mahomes when it's Patrick? We'll move on. We've got to go to the guns segment. Let's go. That was perfect. I didn't want to bring it up.
Ready?
Yeah.
Well, to your point about Bieniemy, we're going to find out real quick about him because Rivera is a strong defensive coach, so he's going to be on his own.
Yeah,
So we'll see what he does. I was thinking about sports today, so I'm going to give you a guns commentary. When I was as old as Nick, we won everything in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Sister Sledge come out with a
We are.
family, couldn't do no wrong with the Pirates. That's how I was raised. Even the grade school team, the Morningside Bulldogs, we were 175-3.
Wow. How'd you
know.
lose 3 games?
I don't know. That's you can't ask Joe. He's gone. But Pitt,
Okay.
Pitt was the #1 team in the country.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
The basketball team, #5 in the country.
Wow.
Everybody in Pittsburgh. The standard in my day was we wanted to win,
Yes, sir.
and we didn't accept anything
And
but that.
championships, yeah.
But what's happened is, I don't know if it's sports as a whole, all the owners now, they get involved to the point where it's become a carnival and a show for people more than the sport of the game,
Yeah.
is what I'm saying. Almost like Las Vegas has become a thing for like a carnival as opposed to the guys that really want to get in there and gamble.
Why'd you point to smoking?
I just happen to lean that way.
Okay.
But the
I'm
point is,
pointing.
I mean, even the Steeler coaches convinced us that, hey, 8-8 is good. You know, people talking about, and I've heard you say, we've made the playoffs in the Penguins how many times?
Oh,
But
since he was 7.
Since 2007, they've had their streak.
but the point is making the playoffs to my generation, it doesn't mean anything. Winning the gold belt, winning the whole thing is what means anything. I don't know if just Pittsburgh as a whole has changed. We got a lot of people coming from other times with Dougal and all that.
Yes, sir.
But the way I grew up, we wanted to win, and it was all about winning. So, you know what? I don't subscribe to what's going on. We got a Pirate owner that he don't want to win no World Series.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it starts with this Boston group that comes in here and shakes the pens up to win. So has the sport fan as a whole in Pittsburgh changed as the way we were? And that's what's on my mind.
You speak like a Gateway graduate, brother. I love it.
That's what's on my mind. And coming from the guy they named Fraser High School after,
Yes. Yes.
He doesn't know where it's at.
Periopolis.
Okay.
see that? He knows. He stands out there and goes, "You come to my school?"
I was testing him because I got to make a notation. First time ever, or no, one of the few times ever, Smoking Jim read off of his notes. I'm honored in 2023 that he brought that back. And if you can read his notes, you're a superstar because he graduated in 4 years at Cal U.
They say no one ever cheated off him because they couldn't read it.
Well, he wasn't there either. He didn't make it to the class. All right,
He was
thanks,
truant.
Guns. We got to go to VIP time in 10 seconds.
All right, I'll talk about the Pirates as well. They're a tough team to root for. I'm still skeptical. I've made that clear. But Adam Crowley on the Fan brought up a point that I could disagree with, talking about an extension for O'Neal Cruz and an extension for some players. I hate the way Major League Baseball's market is now, where all the players want more money and more money and more money, and of course the players don't want a salary cap, because if teams get a salary cap, the players won't make as much money, and of course that's bad for them, so they don't want that. But the Pirates are in this weird limbo right now where they're signing players, right, who are established. The Carlos Santanas, the Rich Hills, which you want to have faith in. You recognize their names, but are they going to be any good anymore? I know Rich Hills, almost 45. He's 44 now. Carlos Santana is going to be 36 after spring training. So,
Hold it. How old's McCutcheon?
McCutcheon with 35, I think?
36.
35 or 36.
He graduated with us, didn't he?
Yeah.
So he's getting up there as well. I mean, he has more ties to the Pirates' successes from before, so I give that a pass. But just some of these names, it's like they're in a weird limbo right now where, I want to have recognizable names on the team, but maybe more recognizable names in their prime without spending so much money. And of course, as Gunn said, Bob Nutting, whether we can prove that he wants to spend money or not, he hasn't really spent the money that contenders have in recent years to build a good team. And the prospects that the Pirates have had have not really panned out. And the Pirates acquired prospects who they said were going to be the future that in recent years now they've traded away. Ahoy Park, Diego Castillo, just to name a few.
Thank you for doing that. I didn't know.
And then Rob Manfred comes out and gets asked a question, what do we talk about with these he was asked a question, the lower market teams, how can you say lower market teams can compete when one owner is coming out and saying in spring training that they have no chance to compete? And Rob Manfred's like, yeah, no, this is definitely a problem, but I don't really know why he asked that question because there's no solution. I don't like him as the face of baseball. That's because this is not a good answer. But in the whole, to get back to the O'Neal Cruz situation, the Pirates at this point should not invest that much money into a player that is not already established. We've seen it, from other teams like a Wander Franco from the Tampa Bay Rays, who got a $174 million extension, and the Rays aren't really doing much. They were the 7th seed in the playoffs in the American League and got bounced after not scoring a run in the wild card round against the Guardians. Or how about the Chicago White Sox, who decided to give a $50 million contract to a player that had not played a single game in Major League Baseball? How are the White Sox doing? Inconsistently bad. I mean, they made the playoffs, but they've been a first-round exit when they were there. And
Who's
then they were a major
manager?
Tommy La Russa, major disappointment. That team's been a major disappointment.
I had to bring that up.
And La
Thanks
Russa
for
had to
letting me.
step down, but that's not quite the point. They're giving an extension to a player who might be talented, but is he $50 million already talented? I don't know. So do I want the Pirates to give O'Neal Cruz, Wander Franco money of $174 million? Not really. Not really. I don't think that at this point it's good to invest that much money in that kind of player, not even that the Pirates would. But an O'Neal Cruz type of player, not established right now, I'd like to see a breakout season first. I'd like to see established talent being signed to the team. If you're investing in prospects who aren't proven, or you're investing in veterans who are seen past their prime now, the 36-year-olds, or in Rich Hill's case, the 44-year-olds, right?
He graduated with us.
It's not
Twice.
It's not a great look. The money's got to be invested. When I keep bringing this up when I talk about contracts, but Francisco Liriano and Russell Martin are great signings in 2013 that were veterans that were in their primes.
Great
that
point.
helped the team move forward, but they were good investments. Affordable. Not even affordable. The Pirates outspent the Yankees to to acquire Russell Martin. So that's the kind of thing I'm looking for. Is just give me a few players in their prime. Give me a few established players that are around their 30s, their early 30s, not their late 30s. But in terms of giving a contract to O'Neal Cruz, no, I don't like that. Brian Reynolds would be getting hundreds of millions of dollars to be the 17th highest outfielder paid in Major League Baseball. I think that's crazy too with the way the market is. He deserves to be paid like that, but the fact that the 17th highest paid outfielder is making hundreds of millions of dollars is insane. So RIP to the Pirates and any chance that they can get him a contract done, because I don't think he's the player of the future like he used to be, and he's too inconsistent to get that kind of contract. So what do the Pirates do? I mean, that's why I think it's a fair question for Rob Manfred to field, is like, what do you do when these teams who are in spring training and they know that they're not going to be competitive because the market's so unbalanced that there's no competitive balance in Major League Baseball? I don't know, but I do know that the answer isn't to throw money at a player who hasn't been established, who hasn't been consistent, and it's just baseball's rough, and the Pirates are one of those teams that has been seeing some rough times.
Thank you, Nick. And I just want to do a little addendum to it, that Guns and I and Smoking Jim didn't follow baseball, but we saw this happening after they got rid of Bonds and Bonilla and guys like that for years. Mm-hmm. That we constantly got these guys that had boats and $5 million couldn't hit the ball.
Yeah.
And we got pitchers that were washed up. They were great pitchers, but we had them in the last year of their contract.
Mm-hmm.
And that's called the window dressing, and you're not used to it.
No.
And we survived it. That's why I say I'm a disgruntled Pirate fan.
Well, it's hard growing up to in a time where the Pirates were in the middle of their eventual 20-year losing streak, so it was tough. I didn't know.
But you didn't realize that they were just getting window dressing with a few $1 million.
Yeah.
That they were more worried about the food there and sales.
Yep.
So they missed that. And how do small market teams, this is sort of rhetorical, how does a small market team like Tampa Bay do well? How does a smaller market like Oakland A's?
Well, the Tampa Bay Rays have been spotty successful, and I mean they made it to one World Series, but that was also during the COVID year, so I'm not gonna.
But what have we done?
The Pirates made it to the playoffs 3 consecutive years, which is a bit more impressive.
World Series?
No World Series, but 3 consecutive years, and they also had the misfortune of the NL Central being the best division in baseball, and the top 3 teams for the first time in history, the top 3 teams by record were in the division. That's rough. That's tough. That's not good. It's just misfortune. But when I speak of the Rays, I think they make the playoffs and they don't make the playoffs. They make the playoffs and don't make the playoffs. Congratulations, they made it to the COVID World Series. I don't hold that in high esteem.
Well, let me tell you, I would hold it in high esteem if the Pirates did the exact same thing.
Well, sure, but I'm like
exact same thing.
But
I would go right with it.
I wouldn't call
them all in.
I wouldn't use the word successful for the Rays, though. They've been inconsistently in the playoffs. The Pirates built a team that was in the playoffs for 3 consecutive years. So,
well, look at the lenses I have. 1979, and what have I seen since? So I would be happy.
50s.
I would be happy as a Pirate fan every other year, every 2 or 3 years. Show me a playoff team or 2.
I hear what you're saying. I don't think the Rays are as successful as they're made out to be.
In my mind, I got to disagree with you.
Okay.
They are.
See, that's one of the things, if I could interrupt for 1 second, about
go ahead.
baseball.
We're doing a discussion here.
It's just so bad for the sport that there's so many teams that are good and so many teams that are so bad, that it's so lopsided, the entire league, that there's no parity. Some of these guys got so much money, and you got a half a dozen teams that can win, and then the rest of them will never win. They're in perpetual, like the Pirates. We're getting money from TV, but we're never going to win.
When you talk about the successes of back then, too, there was no 30-team league either when you guys were around, which
That's
I
a
think,
good point.
because you don't need a salary cap when you're just trying to regulate 10 teams in each league. The more competition there is, the more demand there is for talent and for player salaries, and then the more certain owners can afford when they establish their team.
But did you hear what you just said? That's the problem. In our day, half these guys on these teams would have never made the majors.
Yeah.
That's the difference. The teams had parity because
No, it's an obvious one.
It's not. I mean, you're not wrong. It's just
no, but I'm saying
game.
that's what made it more
It's
parity
numbers.
because now they're bringing in so many more players, so many more teams that the talent, the great ones are spread out among
It's
all
diluted.
these teams.
It's
Exactly. So you got teams like us that
Whoa.
They're off.
They're off in the first race. Guns on the outside.
And the gate
Smoking
swings
Jim
around
on
the turn.
inside. We're
No,
in the
but-
final turn.
I don't know. I just think it's a bad look for the sport, and now it's like, as far as Pittsburghers go, the fans are getting mad, and Nutting goes, there's only two things we can do, bobblehead day and fireworks. And
We love our fireworks with a concert, though. Put the concert in there.
That's true.
No, and it's just changed. And there's many reasons there, but when you have such inequities in the system, if I'm Manfred, I got to change it. I got to put salary caps in there.
He's a terrible face for baseball, though. I don't care even if he's making the right decisions. He just doesn't sound like he is, and I hate that.
Well, he doesn't sound like he's a fan of the sport.
No.
He's a
does not
fan
present
of
himself well. He doesn't
Well,
speak
here's
well.
why. He's a fan of the owners because they're paying him, like Goodell. You know how Goodell is.
But Goodell,
Yeah.
but Goodell, at least when he speaks,
Mouth
it's like,
Goodell.
it's like when Goodell speaks, at least he's like saying things. And at least you feel like, this dude's in charge and he's delivering a message. Like Manfred doesn't say much when he speaks, or he says the wrong thing, and it's
Shit, we haven't had a good one since Bowie Kuhn.
Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. Well, we're going to move on. Marla, a friend of mine, Marla's watching the show. She said, hi, gentlemen. And Amy said she agrees with you, Nick.
Thank you.
Well, he said he was wrong, so I'm glad you did.
Not this second, the one before.
Well, this was when she put it in a few minutes before.
Before what's on your mind?
No, after what's
Did I say
on
I
your
was
mind.
wrong in this second? I can't remember.
You had said you were wrong about Juju, so I'm assuming, unless she corrects it, that you were wrong on Juju. I was right, and I said I watched him for 5 years, and he was terrible, just like he's a loyal Steeler fan, and out the door he went. All right, let's go to On Location. I hope I can remember. Nick, revive me here with our... No, I like to see myself. On Location. Well, Jim Lamb spilled the beans. March 10th, Priory Hotel. Get your tickets there. They're on sale. We want to boost those sales up. The guys from Ireland have been training to beat the Pittsburgh boxers here. It'll be a great night of fights. Nick's going to be there lining up 3-4 cameras and Facebook Live, Pittsburgh Sports Channel. Like Pittsburgh Sports Channel, it'll be live in BPTV.
On YouTube.
It'll be live. Pittsburgh Sports Channel's on YouTube. I told you how to help me, so thanks for the assist. Appreciate that. We're excited about doing it. We locked it up today, Smoking Jim. You will get $1, so we'll be fine with that. It goes with his collection. Look at when you needed $10 from him, and he pulled out 100 ones.
I've been paid by the ones before.
Paid 100 ones
Yep.
for $10. A lost track. And we got boxing with Jose Carabella and the Ray Schaefer Boxing Association on the 11th. Millvale Community Center. Get your tickets. Golden Gloves fights on the 11th. And then we're looking for a comeback on the 18th. We got to get Glory to approve fights again in Millvale or Sharpsburg for Golden Gloves. So it'll be back-to-back weeks. And that's what we got going on. Basically, Nick has his schedule there. We got to check all that stuff out to make sure it works. And, if you have any bars and restaurants where you'd like to see us do our shows, when Smokin' Jim and I would host a show with from 3 to 20 guests. Yes, I can do speed interviewing. So you got to check it out. We charge a small fee. And we bring people in there. We're at Atrius PNC Park, Duke's Rib House and Grill, and a dozen more places locally, and we'd like to get back out there again. Give us a call and let us know. Now we're going to open it up to Penguins talk and whatever else you guys want to talk about. If it's Penguins, Smoking Jim will be quiet. But,
I got a quick question, if I may.
yeah, go ahead. This is open.
Does anybody here, do you believe NASCAR is a sport, Smoking Jim?
It's not a sport. You gotta run and jump for it to be a sport.
What did you say?
NASCAR, is it a sport?
It's a sport because they have to train. Can you
Hold on,
imagine?
let Guttins answer first.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
I think it's.
Oh, sorry.
I think it's a sport because it runs, to me, it runs on the line of golf or bowling.
Can I just say one more thing?
I guess so.
Other than you Adam Crowley's my favorite on the fan. I enjoy him. He got a lot of talent.
So I'm number 2 to you.
No, other than you.
Oh, I'm number
You're
1 to you?
number- you're
Oh,
number-
that's
you're
so
number
sweet.
one.
Thank you.
You're VIP.
Well, I appreciate
But Adam Crowley's a lot. I
nice
always
guy.
enjoy
Yeah,
him.
What do you think?
sorry to interrupt, but can you imagine Smoking Jim driving a car? And
He can't drive a car on 88 for
in the Daytona.
So we've seen.
In
He
the
can't drive
Daytona-
a Chevy Spark
the
on
Daytona.
88.
Can you imagine him driving 530 miles? They did 30 extra miles at Daytona. So they have to train to be able to sit like that and breathe like that.
What a
and
great- what
if
a
he's
great
not-
skill.
And how would they bring in 5 buckets of dark meat chicken for him to eat while they're driving? And I'm not being racist. He has a bucket of chicken in his vehicle. When I go out, he goes, "Hey, machine, you see I got my
It's in
bucket."
there now. It's in there
See,
now.
I'm not lying, so I'm not being racial. I'm not profiling. That's my best friend, and he always offers me a piece, even though it's cold and greasy.
I'm glad to hear you guys said yes. Okay,
I
the
think it's a
majority of the
sport.
table said yes. That's
No,
all.
it's not a sport.
With the Daytona 500 being
Not a
raised.
sport.
Well, I don't, well,
I think it
you're not
is.
the majority in this case. And
I agree.
In a couple ways,
Back
I
of the
guess.
bus again.
Hey, it's just like weightlifting. It takes a lot of skill and strength to hold those cars going 150 mile
Oh
around a curve.
yeah. Plus, we're that fireproof suit. Can you imagine Smoking Jim? Look at his swag, wearing a fireproof up to your neck suit and then something on your head.
First of all, he could never be a NASCAR driver. You know why?
No.
Because when them girls in the stand start doing what they do, he'll wreck as sure as hell.
Sweeties for Jimmy would come out.
Ding, ding.
Jim!
Wow.
3, 2.
Ah, that's unbelievable. So, Guns, your prediction on the Penguins is holding up so well. Steve on the show said that they'd make the playoffs. It's questionable if they can. Jari came back, and they had a lead, and guess what? They lost it again.
The last 2 games, I mean, I don't see how they can make it. And if they do, they're going to get knocked off as sure as heck. I don't know. I don't see it. But then again, no one believed me,
I believed you.
They're not even winning now when it's desperation, and they're not playing the best teams here.
Oh, yeah. No, it's very frustrating watching them. Here's the sad part about it. The 3 guys that have been there for 17 years are producing.
I agree.
And they're actually doing what they're getting paid for, even at their
I
advanced
just
age.
can't get that third line out of my head.
What
They're-
third line? I don't even see them.
Yep.
And it's just frustrating to watch it.
Did you hear Sullivan's comments, too? He was so angry with
Yeah.
the question.
Yeah.
I got the same thing every day.
I think his star is starting to dim.
Yeah.
Hockey coaches have a life expectancy of
No,
so long.
4.3 years is the life expectancy of the coach. They upped his contract after 4 years. So
Well-
he's outlived it.
I
And-
think that Boston group is going to start calling for heads.
Well, I thought they were hopeful this year. Now they know that they can't be. So we're going to end the show. Thank you for all of us watching all of us and putting up with us and putting up with me interrupting Nick and trying to make a point that his thoughts were his own and they weren't. Please stay Joey strong.